The news doesn't tell you what to think, it tells you what to think about. It's an important distinction because if we go by what we see on social media and mainstream media or radio or photos, it looks like police are killing Black people more than white people. When in fact, depending on how you do your numbers, more white people get dead by the police than Black. Let's talk about it. Hello, I'm Dr. Venus, your hot mess millionaire, and today we are talking about how Black blood sells, white power as entertainment. Now, this is a really important conversation, and it's going to blow your brain. It's going to break your brain when you get it. But when you get it, you won't be mad when you hear white people saying stuff that sounds crazy, but actually is, how about this? It's accurate, but it's not the truth. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment, okay? But before we go all the way in, a couple of things. Please make sure you subscribe to the Hot Mess Millionaire podcast, okay? And for those of you who are all my entrepreneurs, all my sisters in success, please make sure you join the Hot Mess Millionaire Facebook group, because on Saturdays, we do this thing called Network Like a Mogul. Okay, instead of trying to get one client at a time, what if you could actually get access to people's networks? Okay, that's a business training. That's an opportunity set that we do in the Facebook group. It's in the notes. Okay, so make sure you join that. Also, please share this broadcast. Tag, share, comment. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. I want to hear from you. Now, I'm going to ask you, and even in your favor, y'all know I'm passionate. Y'all know how I do. Okay, be respectful. Have a dignified conversation. For some reason, I have no idea how this happened, but we're reaching over 1 million people each week. I don't know what I said, and I'm convinced it's white people, so welcome. And I'm not saying they're all, here's the thing. There's good and bad in everybody, okay? And there are going to be some people who are trolls. There are going to be some white people who are mad. Not a problem. Don't dance with it. Do not give them your energy. Don't dance with it. You can tell when someone's being provocative and when someone's really committed to having a dignified conversation. I've had a number of dignified conversations about a number of different topics in the last week, 2 month, whatever, right? And then there are people I just block because they have no commitment to dialogue. They have a commitment to violence through language. So we don't do that on my platform. You can say whatever you need to say, but say it in love, okay? And if you're willing to have a dignified exchange, then your tone needs to match that. Don't ask for something you're not giving, okay? You're welcomed here. But you can't come in calling people names, cursing people out, talking bad about my hair. And my hair changes a lot, okay? But I want to make sure you understand that your truth is valid. And in my house, we respect each other. And if you cannot do that, then leave my house. It's okay. There are other people you can go troll. Not a problem. But here, we're talking about real stuff that makes a real difference, okay? So I just want to put that in there because everybody's here. I want to give a shout out to my Black men who love us, who are just sending me love left and right. And also for my allies. They're not playing, y'all. We got some, you know what? We got some white allies, okay? And they're for real about it. So they're about that life. So I just want to make sure I put that in, okay? And the last thing I want to say before I deep dive into the teaching is this. Read the resources. I curate resources so you can get your own revelation. You don't got to believe me, okay? I saw somebody post, she's not a real doctor. I'm like, really? 13 years of schooling? 10 years as a professor? Okay. I guess I think... But I'm not a real doctor. Okay. I would love to see your credentials, all right? So I'm going to encourage y'all to have a sense of humor with it. I know the topics are deep and we're going to go in. But when people do people stuff, know that they're wounded and you do not have to heal them. Let them be wounded without you. Don't let them use your energy. Don't let yourself be baited into a debate where they put you on their conversation and take you off of yours. Don't do that. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. Your truth is valid and it is welcomed here, okay? So, and also for my brothers and sisters who are like me, got an edge on us. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Got some things to say. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. This is the thing I want you to know. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. Do not diminish your brilliance with name calling. I'm genuinely reading what y'all say. I'm reading everybody. I'm reading what the white supremacists are saying. I'm reading what the black nationalists are saying. I'm reading what the middle of the road people. I'm reading everybody's stuff. Okay. And the good news is we're actually engaging in conversations that historically we never had before. So I'm getting my job done. It's called creating a safe space to actually say your piece. The only thing I'm asking of you on my platform, okay, is that people come, trolls come, people say awful things. Do not respond, okay? Don't respond. Don't let them turn you into an emotional puppet. Don't do that. You're bigger than that. Please honor yourself, honor me, honor our platform, and honor our cause. We are making strides. If we weren't saying some stuff, they wouldn't show up. Okay? So please hear that. Last thing I already said, I'm saying it again. Please read what I tell you, because this is one of those conversations you got to read it to get the stats. Because when I tell you more white people are being shot by police than black, I mean it. It's just real. Look it up. Okay? Now, I'm gonna say this so I can make sure you understand what I'm talking about. There are 64% America, 64% of America is white bodies. Okay? 13 are black bodies. So just based on the sheer number, police are killing white people more than black people. Does that make sense? So, but I want you to hear that in terms of numbers. They got more opportunity because there's more of them. Here's the rub. Here's the distinction, and it's important to note. It's an important one, okay? When it comes to lethal force, and if we were on a level playing field, if it was just the same, if there were 10 people, if there were 10 black people and 10 white people, then it would be more, there would be almost three times as many black people getting killed by the police than whites, if it were 10. But if there's 100 white people and 10 black people, the numbers are off because of the per capita. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Read the data. Okay? I am not your God. I'm just a really smart chick who listens well. Okay? I want you to read it for yourself. I'm not justifying anything, but I've been reading the comments from my new friends, the white supremacists, and the white privileged people who need to express themselves in anger. And I'm reading, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I'm reading their media. Girl, if you ever want to get an understanding about how white people do the stuff they do, go read their media. Go read their news outlets. There's this wonderful one that I actually kind of like. I kind of like it. It's, what is it called? Check up on it. It's called the Blue State Conservative. Girl, you should check up. If y'all want to, I'm going to tell you something. If you ever want to have a committed conversation with someone who doesn't agree with you, read what they're reading. Read what they're reading. So you'll get an understanding of the logic. I was like, why do they keep talking about more white people are dying than black people? What are they talking about? I'm glad they said it. I'm like, oh, thank you, white supremacists, for training me, teaching me, love you, need you, want you, okay? Because it's important to understand how they're understanding, and it comes down to who you read, who you listen to, okay? So put a pin on media, but I really want you to go and look at the stats, okay? And I also put one of those articles I included it's pretty inflammatory, okay? The way that it's edited is very, very accusatory. Ignore the tone, get the knowledge. Ignore the tone, get the knowledge. Ignore the tone, get the knowledge. So you're not in your feelings when they say the things they say, okay? This is just me, how can I say, giving you tools to be able to keep your head when they come for you. I've had to develop a whole new skill set to deal with white supremacists on my platform. And I thank God for the training, because it's helping me really get clear on what I stand for, okay? And that's a gift from God. So don't hate, don't get mad about it, get educated, get to understand it, all right? So I purposely include the resources. Notice it's the third time I said this. I purposely include the resources So you can look for yourself. You do not have to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I don't. Please don't believe me. Believe yourself. Read. Check up on it. I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes talk. You know I'm in love with this man. T.D. Jakes is the best brain. He can say some stuff. Girl, he said, I feel like he's talking to me, and I know he's talking to like 10,000, 50,000 people, 100,000. I don't care. It feels like he's talking to me, and I believe him, right? He was talking about Revelation, some variation of it. And what he was pointing to was that your job is to be a thinking church, not a reactionary one. I want y'all, that broke my brain. My brain went, whoosh. Everyone has a response reactions. All that's fine. That's human. Yay team. Woot, 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 woot. Okay. But what he says, am I dealing with a thinking church? It did something for me to think, okay, am I thinking through the concepts? And I need my followers. I need my tribe. I need my truth tellers to fucking think. I need you to think, not react, because this is a thinking woman's game. And if you're not thinking and reacting, you're feeding into power dynamics that's going to keep you in bondage. Okay. And so I just want to make sure I put that in before I go all the way in, because this is one of those conversations that requires a bit of setup. All right. So, and I need you to understand this. How can I say this, God? Help me say it. Please help me say it. God, please help me say it good. Let me say it this way. We're winning. Okay? We're winning. And part of the thing I want you to keep in mind, I think Frederick Douglass says there's no progress without struggle. And there are casualties. There are casualties, girl. I mean, like, there are some losses that literally take the breath from my body. Okay? And you and I were born in a historical moment that we are built for. We are built for this moment, babe. This is us. This is what God didn't bring me through in the 50s. I probably would have got dead. You know what I'm saying? God brought me through. I came of age like now, right? And so I'm saying to you, I know it's painful. I know it's harsh. I know it's heartbreaking. I'm clear. My heart gets broken every time I turn on the news. I'm coming back to media in a moment, okay? And when I look at all the laws they're trying to put in place, not just voter suppression, okay, but also in terms of there's so many little things in terms of protesting that you can't do certain things, blah 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 blah. Do you understand how effective we must be being? That they're now trying to put in new laws, which is the way to wipe this fights, okay, to not have us gather. So please do not get discouraged. Do not get discouraged with the pain. It does hurt. It hurts in ways I don't want to get present to right now. I'm going to keep it light so I'm not crying, right? But I want you to be very clear that if it wasn't working, we wouldn't bump into resistance, okay? So holla at your girl. Make sure I know you hear what I'm pointing to, okay? Let me know I can hear from you, all right? So I needed to put all that in so I could have this conversation with you, okay? Okay. Girl. Gee, me God. So let me help you understand what we are dealing with today. Woo! I got glimpses of George Floyd last summer. I couldn't look at the video then, couldn't look at it now. I feel too deeply, I'll just end up on the floor, okay? And because of my PTSD and anxiety, I have to manage what I actually intake, right? As a well-being matter. And so, I don't know if you've noticed this. But have you noticed that every time a police person shoots a Black person's body, we see the whole thing? Have you not noticed that? But white people are dying at the hands of the cops more so than Black bodies, but we never see it. Why not? Why not? How is it that there are more white bodies getting dead by the popo, but it's never on television? And listen, we don't control the media, y'all. we don't have enough infrastructure to control what gets put on. Does that make sense? So it's not like there's some black puppeteer in the background saying, ooh la la, let's put all the black bodies on. You see what I'm saying? There's an article that I included that talks about 6 times white people were murdered in mistake by police, and it got no news coverage. Read the article, check up on it. I mean, really, you need to see this for yourself because it blew my brain apart. Okay, and it's like, well, how come it didn't? Why didn't it? I mean, and it's a real question, right? And so when I look at stuff, not just my awareness, George Floyd's execution changed me, but that's when I started getting hip to the game, right? And so I'm like, God, why is that the case? Now we see white bodies when it comes to mass murders. Does that make sense? And normally when white men do mass murders, mass bombings, the way that they're positioned in media, social media, mainstream media, okay, they have a mental breakdown or something, somehow or another they're humanized. You see what I'm saying? But that's almost the only time I see white people, white men, in the news, but not a white man being killed, not a white woman being killed. I don't see their bodies. I don't. And if you do, hook a sister up. I don't see them. And I'm like, God, why don't I see this when they're getting shot too? Look, policing is an equal opportunity killer. They're killing white people, y'all. They're killing white people and they're killing poor white people. Girl, they're killing poor white people? Now, just to make it make sense, y'all remember when Dr. King got dead? He got dead right when he started to combine civil rights with financial equity. And he was starting to, he was talking to the union, the white unions for white working class people, AKA men, to join the civil rights movement. That's when he got dead. He didn't get dead when he was marching on Washington. He didn't get dead when he was in Selma. He got dead when he started talking to white people about the unionizing and coming together with black people. Okay? Now, historically, white people have had a psychological wage called I'm white, which means if I'm white, even if I'm poor, even I ain't got no land, I ain't got no horse, I ain't got no mule, I ain't got nothing. I got my whiteness. That makes me better than the richest black man. And that has been something that's been taught generationally to whiteness. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about ideology. So keep that in mind. I'm a philosopher, y'all. Y'all know how I do. Okay? And so when I look at how easy it is to parade a black body being murdered by a white police officer, okay? It harkens back to the history of lynching, tarring, and feathering. It harkens back to Jim Crow and Reconstruction, all right? It harkens all the way back to slave patrols, if you really want to go all the way up in the cut, okay? It harkens back to all of those things. And the thing that I want you to understand, and I put some researches in there, is this. Early 1900s, late 1800s, all the way up to 1950s, okay? Lynching was a norm in North America. Now, here's the thing you may not notice. We know about the lynching, but do you understand the entertainment aspect? Have you ever heard of picnic? Picnic? What picnic really stands for pick a nigger. Picnic is pick a nigger to lynch as entertainment while you eat. White people would actually have picnics and watch a public hanging. It was organized, it was social. It wasn't an angry mob. Some of these were dignified people, y'all. They were police officers, judges. They were white people who weren't crazy. They were white people who believed that black people are savages, should die, and they should enjoy the afternoon baseball game afterward. And so I want you to be very, very, very clear that historically, our bodies being killed has always been entertainment to white people. You don't have to take my word for it. Look it up. Read. Please, y'all, I really want y'all to think for yourselves. I'm not trying to have you think. I'm trying to give you some stuff to think about. And you can go look it up. You can do whatever you need, okay? So you can own this. But why our bodies have our death has been entertainment for whiteness since we got here. Our beatings have been public, our lynchings have been public, the burnings of our cities when we had our own money was public. Do you understand? And it was all in the media. Did y'all pick that up? It was always circulated in the newspapers. Birth of a Nation, if you look at how that movie, that very first motion movie, positions black people as savages trying to take white purity, look it up. Don't take my word for it. You don't have to. I don't want you to. Don't listen to me, listen to yourself. Okay? And so what I want you to understand is this. Oh, I gotta tell you this before I say this other piece. I was talking to Nana, my mom. She's 76, okay? And she said to me this morning when I was talking to her on our team call, that in her day, whenever a black person got killed by the police, they always released the name and showed the picture. But when it was a white person, they never showed the picture and they never released the name. And if you, I want you, the reason I want you to think through this, I need y'all to understand this, okay? Why is it that more white people are dying at the hands of the police and it doesn't get any significant media coverage? You and I don't own the media. Do you see what I'm saying? I need y'all to understand this. We don't own ABC, NBC, NSC, CNN. So we can't, that's not ours to do. Do you understand? You know, like, so we ain't paying the media to promote black violence. We're not doing that. So I'm thinking, so I'm like, Jesus, help me understand, why is it that white people are being killed by the police, black people are being killed by the police, but we don't see the white bodies being killed, shot, maimed, lynched, hurt by police. I've never seen a white body with a knee on the neck for over 9 minutes. I haven't in my lifetime. If you have, send me the video. Okay? So if you start walking that with me, then you have to start thinking of, what the hell is this? That they got more deaths, but we got more coverage. Make sense? And here is the rub, my friend. Girl. It's real simple in one way, but it's a little frustrating in another. Black trauma sells. Black pain sells. Black blood sells ink. Black blood sells views. Black blood sells streams. It sells because it feeds into the meta narrative of white superiority, white power, and the helplessness of the black body. It is used in two particular ways, okay? It's used to reiterate that whiteness can do whatever they want to our bodies, whatever they want, whether it's turn them into a factory for the American dream, whether it's slave work us like a horse until we die, whether it's they can impose their will on us sexually, whatever way you want to do it. And I'm not trying to get graphic with it, but I want you to understand. But it's designed to buttress up white power. And at the same time, how can I say this, God, fix it? Position black bodies as disposable. I need you to understand that. I need you to get this point. I need you to get both points. God, I'm going to say it louder. For the people in the back, okay? White power gets enacted on the black body such that it reiterates to whiteness its power. Okay? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It wouldn't have the same effect if it was a white body. If it was a white cop put his knee on a white man's neck, it wouldn't get any coverage because, one, they protect whiteness. Look, whiteness is smart, y'all. Be clear. Whiteness is very smart. Okay? And I'm talking about an ideology. I'm talking about a way of thinking, being, and moving in the world. I'm not talking about skin. There are some black white supremacists. Rest assured, you know it. Okay? So don't worry about that. Don't trip off the language. Get to understand it. Whiteness protects itself. Okay? It reiterates itself. And the way it reiterates itself is through the black body. Does that make sense? So if you take away the black body, the whiteness doesn't know who it is. So it has to enact its power on the black body in order for whiteness to exist. Without it, Hegel, slave master dialectic. If you want to get up in it, okay. If you want to go theoretic, go on, check out. Go on, go on. Hegel said it better than me, and I love him. The phenomenology of spirit. I can't say the way Hegel said it because he's really smart, okay. But what I want you to be very, very clear about is that it is not an accident that we don't see the white bodies, and they're getting dead, and they're getting sloppy. One young lady, they came to her house and killed her. Y'all should read it. It's crazy. Just read the article, all right? So you're like, Dad, they do that to us too. Yep. But because whiteness preserves its purity by not defamating the body. You see what I'm saying? There was I don't know if I remember this last year when we were doing all the protesting. There were some black women who got tackled by police, and they moved the clothes so you could see her private parts, and they left her exposed. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's what they did on the slave ships. That's what they did on the plantation. That's what they do at work. You see what I'm saying? But they don't do that to white women. And if they do, they don't show it. They don't circulate the image. The media doesn't circulate that image of whiteness. They preserve the purity of whiteness, that would never happen to a white body. And yet it is happening. Does that make sense? So I need y'all to understand that this isn't it. There's this thing called implicit bias that most people ignore, okay? And implicit bias means you got a bias against things you don't even know you got. So let's say, like this, I can't think of, I'm not gonna get into names. I want you to read it for yourself. But if you think about the young white man who had the gun, and I can't remember, they all start to blur. And they were nice to him. They gave him water, they soothed him, but they showed him as a sympathetic young man who was having a hard time. Does that make sense? And we can take the same baby, same age, and turn that into a black baby. And because historically we have been so positioned, and the images have trained the world, specifically Americans, to see us as dangerous and savage, there's no empathy. There's just attack. Deadly force is used on black bodies 3 times as much as on white ones. Be very clear. I want you to understand how this works. So the point of it is this. If whiteness, let me say it different. If 64% of America is white, then that means that the media is catering to their needs. They didn't hear me, God. They did not pick up on that. I'm going to try one more again. If America is composed of 64% white bodies, and the media companies are controlled by white executives, and the main writers, the leaders inside of all media tends to be white males, then they have a very, very, very specific implicit bias about how they want to see themselves. And they do not want to see themselves as a black person, as someone who could be treated like that. Does that make any sense? And the fact that it turns into entertainment means they can monetize it. Does that make sense? So when I say entertainment, I don't mean like da 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 da. I don't mean entertainment like song and dance. I mean like commodification. Like if you just think about how many videos or images you've seen of Michaela or George or Trayvon, you know what I'm saying? And you think about how many times people have downloaded articles or videos or songs, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Then you start to see how much, let me say it soft, The black body has always been a commodity in white America. Does it make sense? Whether we're picking cotton or making a touchdown, it's always been money for whiteness. Does that make sense? That's the fabric of American culture. That's how it was built. The institution of North American slavery is still running the show. And I'm not talking about, we're not picking cotton. That's not the point. But what we are doing is we are being positioned to turn our pain into their profit. Does that make sense? And that has how it's always, that's no different than working on a plantation and picking cotton for 12 hours. Okay, so I need you to understand what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a historical wound that's being reiterated by the current media that was already set in motion by the previous one. Okay, and because we don't control the media, they can take whatever we do and turn it into money. They can take our pain and turn it into money. They can take our talent and turn it into money. They can do whatever they want because they have the highways, they have the media. Now, this is where it becomes really important. The bottom line is, girl, we need to have our own media. Okay, let me just make it real plain. We need to have our own media, all right? And that's one reason why I'm starting my tech company, okay? Because until we can control our own media channels, we're always going to live at the mercy of what they want to do with our bodies. I have no interest in seeing white people get shot by the police. I really don't. However, if I ever did, I will feel justified that we're not the only ones. But because we don't see it in media, it doesn't seem like it's real. You see what I'm saying? Because we only see our bodies, the bodies they don't think that matter, the ones they think are disposable and violent and need to be shot and killed. Never mind tasered, never mind de-escalated. No, we need to be dead. Deadly force is how they're trained with us. They're not trained that way with white people. In fact, they give white people the benefit of the doubt and they're kind. And you can see it. Look up on it, all right? What's more salient is that we, Black women, and the brothers who love us and our allies, okay, we need to create our own media channels such that we are, for lack of a better word, in control of our image. You know what I'm saying? And we can't do that on their platforms. That means we have to have our own platforms because they will, if we go through, and we've been trying for 400 years to use their platforms to change how they see us or how we're positioned so people can see us as human beings. And it doesn't happen because we don't have our own. So I'm creating my own platform. You know what I mean? I'm creating my own tech startup for us so that we can control the content. We can say what's real about us. We can do that. And I want y'all to be very clear. I have no interest in trying to convince anybody about how absolutely amazing you are. Girl, you, as far as I'm concerned, you walk on water. Okay, you are the truth. I don't care about what they think, but what I do care about is you being able to have a space that's not polluted with the history of slavery, always turning us into the scapegoat, the cash cow, the beast of burden, or the victim, and then blaming us for being victimized. No, but we can't do it we can't do that without our own media. Is that making any sense? I hope it does, God. My prayer is that it's clear. You know, I try to keep these broadcasts to around 30 minutes just so they're not so long. So I'm going to start wrapping up. But I hope that you are feeling what I'm pointing to. Let me say this. I'm doing my whole thing. I'm doing my tech startup thing. Come next week, I'm doing a photo shoot tomorrow with my team. Oh my God, my content creators are flying in. They're amazing. All my content creators are Black women. Okay? All of them. I got 65 Black women who ain't playing. Okay? And my app architect is a Black man. His team is amazing. I have my creative team coming in to do the photos because I'm going to go ahead and launch. I'm going to do the pre-orders starting probably next week, okay? If God's will, all right? And I'm going to do that, and we'll launch officially on the 23rd of September on my 50th birthday because I figured if I'm going to have a party, it might as well be a big one, all right? But the point of it is this. We have to invest in having our own media, our own channels. We really do. I'm listening. TD Jakes is having his leadership conference virtual, and Byron Allen, who bought the Weather Channel. Wow, I'm so impressed with him. Okay, who buys the Weather Channel? That's like buying the rights to the birthday song, right? Anyway, I'm all up in the cut. I'm listening to what he said. I'm up in the cut. I'm all over this because I'm learning that without our own channels, our own distribution, our own media, our own, okay, we can't win this with them, y'all. Nothing bad about it. It was built for them. It's working exactly the way it's supposed to. So I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to take a page from white supremacy's book and I am going to build what they built for them, for us, with us. So we're monetizing our own shit. We're not waiting on them. You see what I'm saying? But you got to understand that there's no way to win in the model in which we're trafficking. That's what I'm trying to communicate because it's built to keep us less than and dead, monetizing for them in multiple different ways that don't even look like we are, but we are. We're driving culture, we're driving traffic, we're driving news, we're driving style, we're driving media, we're driving sports, we're driving all of that, but we don't own it, but we will. Give me a minute on it. I promise you. I'll build the first one. I'll bankroll the first one. But after that, I'm birthing 100 Black billionaire women, okay, to found their own tech startup because the technology is what makes the difference. Every major era has had technology that ushered in that which is new, okay? And we're at a place historically where we can actually do that. And I bless God for helping me to have the resource to start. So don't be discouraged, sis. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. You can grieve, okay? But know this. You are God wrapped in flesh. You are the way, the truth, and the light. You're the one we've been waiting for. You always have been, always will be. And I don't care what happened to you. I don't care what they said. I don't care what you did or did not do. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, you are God wrapped in flesh. And there's nothing you can't take that, you can't change my mind. Okay? And so I just need you to keep breathing, to keep thinking, and to keep using your voice. Don't get silenced by people's ugly. They're not. That's just the devil talking. He ain't that. He ain't nothing. He ain't nobody. He ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? He ain't nobody. All right. And it's hurtful to watch what's happening in society, but it's necessary for us to create our own. There's no other way except for going through. So please keep your head up. Do not let the pain and the cynicism and the ugly take your joy. You and I are transforming the world, and we're doing it with our voice. So please, say your piece. Do it in a dignified manner. Don't need to call nobody names. Not necessary. You don't need to call them names. Okay? The truth is insulting. Let the truth go to work. Tell the truth, let the truth go to work. It'll insult everybody. But I don't need you to get ugly. You have too much class for that. Okay? So please don't. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is help get this George Floyd Justice in Policing Act passed. Call your senator, y'all. Get up on them. The Senate's doing Senate stuff, okay? And really advocate for that. Qualified immunity is what they're bickering over right now, okay? And it is a big deal because until police are held accountable, they'll keep killing white people and Black people. You see what I'm saying? They will. So it's just like the slave patrol. We have to hire. So we have to elect future focused leaders, but we also have to do our part in terms of electing people into office that have our interests in place and at the forefront. And we also need to badger the Senate until they pass these laws, right? Because the way this infrastructure works is through those laws. It's imperfect, but it's the format we have, okay? So don't if you're going to be excited about the verdict in terms of the George Floyd case, and I know he wasn't on trial, so don't fuss at me about that. Okay? Use that enthusiasm to call your senator. Call them. Just dial the number. Okay? Say, hey, go ahead and vote for this right now. Just tell them. You don't have to be saying, you don't have to be nice about it. Okay? But use that enthusiasm to move something, to change something. Use that. Don't just sit on it and be thankful. Get in action. Please, for the love of God and all things holy. Don't take don't think of it as a victory. Think of it as a start. We ain't done yet. And I still don't feel comfortable about the 8 weeks. I'm still waiting on the verdict. Y'all know how I feel about this. I ain't gonna go up in that today, Lord. Okay? So please advocate for the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. I can't say it enough. And I'm gonna keep saying it. That's just what we need to do that way. And we need to build our own platforms. And I'm starting that next week. All right. All right, I love you, sis. I love you, bro. I love you, allies. Thank you for all my white supremacists who are listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate you came. I know you're gonna. I know you're gonna have opinions. If you're gonna have opinions, please say it in love, because I'm a comment. Okay, so we're gonna get it together. And I think that's all I got. God, is there anything else you want me to share? Okay. I love you. I love you, girl. I love you, bro. I love you, fam. I love you too, white supremacists. I love you too, white privileged. I love you too, allies. I ain't mad at you. I'm not. I appreciate your passion. I understand it. And at some point, I don't know when, we'll be able to have a dignified conversation where we can talk and not agree, but that doesn't turn each other into the enemy. I'm not even on that right now. I just got to take care of my people. Get us emancipate us economically, so that we actually aren't living at the effect of 400 years of institutionalized racism. And I know that's not real for some people, but it's real for me. Okay, so with that being said, um, know that you're loved. And it's a joy to be with you. Thank you for listening to my words. Thank you for sharing this post. I really appreciate it. Thank you for always sharing my broadcast. If you were fed by this word, please share it. It's life-giving, it's life-affirming. And there's no one else who's talking about things the way that I am, and also putting together the resources so you can look for yourself. So please partner with me in reaching others so that we actually are in a conversation, okay? And then a dialogue. I've said my piece. This is Dr. Venus, your hot mess millionaire. I love you, sis. I love you, bro. I love you, allies. And please remember this. You're worth so much more than you have ever been taught to believe. I love you, and goodbye for now.